Hi, welcome back. I'm Joe. This is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. Charlie Kirk. May God rest his soul. When I woke up to the news of this horrific killing, I hadn't yet heard of Charlie Kirk. When I woke up, what I learned was there was yet again another shooting in the U.S. and someone was killed. And me being in Japan currently, I thought, here we go again. Here we go again. It's like right on time. And for a moment, I thought, thank you, God, that I am removed, at least temporarily, from the country that seems to still struggle with getting it right when it comes to this. When it comes to revering life, when it comes to protecting its citizens. Then when I dug deeper, the heartbreak just worsened, right? To see the divide between those who were mourning this senseless killing and those who were actually celebrating it. I thought, and then we wonder why this exists. We wonder why war and violence and ignorance and racism exists. No matter where you stood, whether you aligned with this person's values or political views, I can't believe we're even talking about this, political views, how could we even, for one, take the life because of his views? And from what I saw, the man was simply just speaking his truth, whether you agreed with it or not. I certainly, just from what I researched, because I had to take, to Google and research who this person was. And for me personally, no, I didn't agree with a lot of what this gentleman said, but who gives a damn? Those were his values, his morals, his truth. How dare we think it's justified to take another life because they view it differently? And from where I stand, this individual was simply speaking his truth. The way that you and I want to speak ours. But honestly, I'll say this. He had the balls to at least speak his truth. Where do you stand on speaking your truth? Now, regardless of what we thought, when will we rise to a point where we can simply agree to disagree? When will we reach a point where we rise above the hate, the destruction, the devastation? As I took to my social sites and I was just saying, celebrating any type of violence only breeds violence. And that even though it probably hasn't touched your home today, tomorrow it may. Of course, I got a bunch of DMs. I got people sending me clips of of some of the speeches he had on slavery and pro-life, thinking that that was going to sway me either way. At the end result, this is his opinion. His opinion. It doesn't need to align with what we think. How do we elevate above that? How do we actually change the world? Well, honestly, we change the world by doing what he did, speaking his truth, speaking his authenticity, speaking his values. We are here to express it, whether we agree or not. We are here to express the way we see the world, the way we view God, the way we view life. And from what I see, and I don't agree with a lot of what he was saying, but I can say this man was someone who was standing and in his conviction, and someone who, as far as he can see, was changing the world by his free speech. Who are we to come along and take that out and then pick a side that says, I justify this killing? How disconnected have we become? How? And then I must say this, friends that I saw that were actually, heartbroken because of his killing, his senseless killing. But then at the same time, simply blaming the left. And it's like, how we elevate beyond that mind. That's the mindset that created the mindset that could kill someone because he was simply speaking his truth. That's the level. That's the same level. If we're simply to blame each other, one another, then that is the same mindset that says it is okay to take out someone because they're viewing things differently than the way I view it. It's okay to remove someone from this earth, from their life, because they're speaking about values that don't align with mine. They're speaking about hate. Well, you know what? Hate doesn't drive out hate. Only love can do that. Who will, or when will we rather, be the love, be the light that we want to see in the world? How you do that is you speak what your truth is. If you're all about love and your values are completely opposite to this individual's, then you just simply speak your truth. You stand in your conviction. You do the work to put your narrative out there. That's what he was doing. We wonder why he went so far in his career. We wonder why he made whatever change he did make, because this man was speaking his truth. When will you have the balls to speak your truth and create change? Or maybe now we're even more afraid to do it because if we stand out in our freedom of expression, then maybe we will be the next ones who will be taken out because of that. And you know what? For those who were sending me, podcasts or clips or memes or any of that about this individual, it actually only made me look at the people that were sending me this even that much more closer. That's the reason this exists. You are the problem. You are the ones who are sending these memes like, oh, well, look, he said this about slavery. So then that justifies a killing. That's what we're saying? So then what you're saying is we're never going to rise above it. We're never going to create something different. We're never going to elevate our mindset so that we can begin to see the vision that we hold in our minds, if you hold it, of creating a new world. The problem is we're so focused on what our neighbor is doing, we're not looking at the man in the mirror. That's his point of view. We don't have to agree. Speak your point of view. Speak your point of view from a place of love, from a place of truth. Have a debate. That's how we win souls. That's how we change people's mind. That is how we inspire one another. That is how we influence change. We create change by looking at ourselves first, not looking at, that's a weak mindset. Looking at somebody else and worrying about what they're doing and what they're saying and saying, now this person needs to be eliminated because of what? Because of their political views? Speak your truth. Look at yourself in the mirror. What are you doing? What do you stand for? To try to silence somebody because they have chosen something that they're aligned with and they're simply speaking their truth. So then the only thing we can think about is taking this person out so that to silence them. Does that silence anyone? I don't know. It seems like people are pretty riled up now. It seems like we have created an even far more dangerous America. When will we understand that violence breeds more violence? When? And over politics. Politics. We've got to be serious. We got to be kidding. And it's my views remain the same. I got flooded with messages of people saying, well, what do you think about when he said this? Or what do you think about war? You know what? I'm going to tell you, war never breeds peace, ever. I was having this conversation with someone in my DMs. We see war in the Bible, throughout the Bible. But those of us who are really following God understand the truth. The mindset, our collective mindset, is what breeded war. But God showed that he is still in control by using war to create a balance. Yes, there was a lot of bloodshed, a lot of decay, a lot of death, a lot of destruction, but he used it to create balance. We can avoid the destruction. We can avoid the bloodshed if we just live from a place of balance from the beginning. How do we do that? We simply begin with us. We don't worry about the views of our neighbors. We simply stand in our conviction and we preach that to the world. That's what we do. That's how we create change. We're living in our true expression and we're creating it and we're expressing it to the world. That's how you create change. We don't create change by, well, that person has different views from me, so let me attack him because he's viewing things differently. No, we don't worry about his opinion. We let him speak. If we want to engage him in a debate, we'll engage him in a debate. But you stand fixated on your truth. What is your truth? Speak your truth and see how far you'll go on your platforms. See how much of a following you will build, because what will happen is when you're speaking your truth, you attract to you like-minded souls. So for those of us who are speaking pure love, who are speaking God, who are speaking peace, who are speaking reverence, humanity, harmony, all you got to do is stand in that truth. That truth comes with all the power to create impactful change. You don't need to skip out of your lane and try to silence someone else. Try to silence who you are concerned about their rhetoric. No, you combat that. If you consider it darkness, you combat the darkness with light. If you have light to shed, then you just stand in your truth and you shed it. That's how you rise above it. We don't wallow in the mud with those that are fixated on their neighbors, those that are fixated on what someone else is doing. I have a friend that was sending me posts of, it was horrible, of people celebrating this young man's death. And my friend thought it was justified to basically talk about the left side, right? Look at what the left's doing. He sent, several horrible clips of people, celebrating the death. And he's like, see, this is why, basically in his mindset, This is why he was putting up things blaming the left, because of a few TikToks that went viral. What? Now you're just in the mud with them. You create change by simply speaking your truth. If you speak against it, speak how you feel. You don't jump in with them and say, well, now it's on. The left, assumingly, I don't know. God bless everyone who needs to find whoever this was that has senselessly killed this family man, this human being, this activist. But you don't get in the mud with the people that are celebrating by saying, now it's time for us to arm ourselves because the left is coming after us. So now we're the right and we're going to arm ourselves. We don't create change. What we create is more of the same, more of what we've already seen, more of the mindset that thought it was okay to take this man out. When will we rise above it? When will we focus on the person in the mirror? When will we finally be the change? How do you be the change? You've heard this expression so many times. How do we be the change? If you want a life that is filled, or a world rather, that is filled with peace and harmony, then you yourself be peace and harmony. You speak nothing but peace and harmony. You take to your social media sites, you take to your family dinners, and you speak peace and harmony. The problem is we don't believe in ourselves. We believe that we're too small. We believe we only got 50 followers on Instagram. We're not impacting the world. No, you impact the world when you're speaking your truth. That authenticity is authentic power. That has a power to change anything. You're looking at the numbers. You have a small mind. You don't believe that by speaking your truth, you can move things. That's why we're so weak to think we can just go out and take somebody else who's speaking their truth. Well, that's the damn problem with this mindset. That is the problem with today's society. And the sad thing is only a few of us will get this. I pray, my prayer is that the collective rises up and elevates beyond it. Get out of the mud. It is okay for us to disagree. It is okay. Actually, beautiful art can come out of disagreeing. It is okay to have a debate. It is okay to have different values. But when will we say, those are your opinions, those are your views, that is your speech, that is your truth, it's not mine. God bless you for speaking your truth. Now let me take to my platform and speak mine. That is how things are changed. We think we silenced someone, but how many more now are rising up? How many more now will be, God help it, hurt as a result of the violence that has been unleashed in this senseless act? You want to change it? Are you mourning right now? That's good. What will you do differently? Or will you just simply arm yourself? When will we be the change we want to see in the world? It starts with you. Doesn't start with your neighbor, doesn't start with your mama, doesn't start with your daddy. It starts with you, and it starts today. Choose something. Be passionate about something. We need to hear from you. Stand firm in your convictions. That is how you create change. Thank you so much for joining this rant. I had to join the conversation. What I'm seeing is devastating, but actually it is complete alignment with the mindset that thought it was okay to take out this man. Let's do better, y'all. It starts with you, and it starts right now. Until next time, love yourself and love others. Bye for now.